Okay, let's go again. If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, if save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with. Hi there, Martin here from Jars Beginner Guitar. Hope you're well. I'm looking at Jim Crochet's Time in a Bottle today. I think that's how you say his name, Jim Crochet. Time in a Bottle, again a fantastically difficult song to cover. But I wanted to cover this one for a long time. It's been a particular favourite of mine ever since I was a little nipper. I've always found it hard to want to play actually. A lot of versions out there. This is my own version. I've tried to do it on one guitar, a singer's version. I've looked at basically the verse and chorus. I'm still working on this song. It's a tricky picky. But some great use of arpeggios and use of descending bass lines and other little fills all around if you're doing fingerstyle. So I'd like to start off really by giving you a bit of information about the song, and then we'll look at the song itself. I've done a kind of an okay performance on it, and then we'll kind of break it down. So okay, about the song. The song was recorded in 1970. It was written by Jim Crochet for his wife and his as yet then I think unborn son Adrian. So that was 1970. It wasn't released until after his sad death. It was sad to hear about that. I didn't even know, to be honest, when I discovered the guy, that he'd passed away quite early. So it was released in 1974. I believe he died in a plane crash in 1973. I think it's right. It was 72, 73. The song itself, Time in a Bottle, classic, isn't it? Absolute classic. That whole thing of encapsulating time in a bottle. We'd all like to do it, wouldn't we? Kind of just go back and revisit it, or actually jump back into the time of that moment. Yeah. So anyway, so to go forward with the song, looking at it, it's actually a very short song. Just looking at my notes here, Mr. State the Obvious. He worked with another guitarist. The other guitarist was called Maury Mewlayson. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. Unfortunately, he also died in the plane crash. He was, I think Jim Crochet was 30ish and the other guy was 24. Looks like they were just peaking. They were having a real big moment, you know, in their kind of as a duo. They're doing really, really well. Time in a Bottle was a big hit, or shall we say, would have been. But I think it was a solid album that came out. Don't Mess Around with Jim. I know he had struggled to kind of get a release, but then it was all looking kind of rosy, and sadly kind of ended too soon. But yeah, so going back to the song, the structure itself, some great examples of arpeggio in there if you're working on your arpeggios, and some great chords. So let's break it down and go and have a look at the song. Okay. Okay, to the song. I'm just going to walk through my song sheet. I've done this before. Method I often use. Hopefully that will help you. I will eventually put this on the website. I have kind of tabbed it out. As I said, there are a lot of versions have done this, so I've tried to aim mine towards a singer-songwriter type. That's doable because some of it is quite difficult. Okay, let's go forge on into it then. So the song starts with you've got the E and the B string being played alternately at the start. Now it's up to you whether you want to bar the whole lot and play 10 on the E, so you bring in the bass with it. I don't think he does at the start, but then he does after that. So you get this kind of, can you see what I'm doing there? So it's right across. So you try not to muffle it like I just did. So how we do it normally. Okay. Now there's two guitars. Remember that in the actual on the record, should I say? So it's kind of obviously a different sound. So this is a single guitar. I'm trying to cover up for those two guitars. So the start is a bit more fluid on the record, but I'm going to do a vague version of I'll Get You By. Then drop down to 9, and you bring in your first finger. Keep that bar on 9 with your first finger here. Bring in your second finger, and you're playing the 10 on the B string. Okay? Drop down to 8. This time third finger comes in onto 10. And then finally down to 7. And your second finger, I think I'll call that my first finger. So your second finger plays the 8th fret with that bar again here. Okay, and again the alternate picking. Okay, just run through that quickly. Okay, I've left the fingers in a place where it's quite convenient to change down. Eventually you can link that all together, make it a bit more fluent, as I am trying to do. Now, the fingers I'm using my thumb and my first and second finger, kind of walking. Okay, and if you're clever, you can catch other strings, give it a nice little twang. It's up to you. Again, this is up to you how you do this. Okay, second part is, so from here, we turn into this pinch technique, which is the thumb and the first finger is going to, you've got to swivel slightly here with your second finger and third finger. Grab the, let me just play it. Okay, so this little pinch technique here on 2 strings is, I'm using my second finger on D, that is D8, and my third finger on B8, and I'm pinching these two and they kind of work in unison. That's a nice word, isn't it? Unison. So 8, 5, 6, back to 8, back to 6, 5. Once more. So that's part 2. I'm giving parts. Okay, right. Down to the next section now, which is a fill. There's many. This one repeats itself quite a few times. So your second finger. Let me just play it for you as we come down. So second finger goes to B2, open A. Pinch, you know what I'm doing down here on my fingers. It's up to you whether you pinch with your first finger or your second. Okay, so we pinch, second finger, then first finger goes up to A2, third finger down to B3, pinch, and then the third part here, which would be, as in the third little thing I'm going to do here, is A2 again, and pinky onto A4, I think that's right. That doesn't sound right, let me try that again. Okay, right. So as I said, there and there, which is A2 and B3, and then up to A4 and B5. It's up to you what fingers you use again. You could use your first and third. And then the next section is up to here, another again, a little two-fingered thing you play together, harmonising notes. Second finger goes to, this is how I do it, second finger goes to G12, and third finger is on E12. So down to 10, down to 9. Yep, got that all together. Okay, and now we start into the song as the singing section. We need a D minor shape, which is first finger on E1, second finger on G2, and third finger on B3. That's your D minor. Most of your pickings are going to be based around that with a descending bass line. So, okay, so we start with an arpeggio. Again, I'm going to be picking with my thumb, first, second, third, mainly. That type of technique, and it kind of carries on all the way through. Alright, so here we go. So D minor, the first thing to do is... Okay, second one is your pinky. This is quite a stretch. Your pinky goes up to A4. Do the same thing again. Oh, muted note there. I have to work really hard on this as I've got quite small hands, so be patient with yourself. You might be lucky to have giant, great big hands. Anyway, so there we go, there's that one. And then we're down to the next string, which is A3. Now you've got to kind of move your fingers around to get them into place. So your third finger now steps up to A3. Your pinky comes down, still we've got that D minor there. Your pinky is substituting where your third finger is. Great how it does it, eh? Actually, my fingers went really numb when I was practicing on this and I couldn't actually move them, felt like lead weights were on top of the knuckles. So anyway, so here we go. So this is, again. Now again, you're going to, like twisted this is, you can move your fingers again. Now we're going to make the next shape, which is again D minor, with a B, slash B, slash chord, D minor slash B. See what I did then? So now my second finger is up on the B string, I'm still making the D minor down here. We're going to keep on descending down to B flat. This time we just do a bar. Leave our other two fingers where they are. See what I'm doing there? B flat. I'm barring here and I'm catching the E1 with my bar at the bottom. It's quite hard. Give it a good old, check this one. You have to really press down. It's a bit of work, this one. Okay. Now we go into that fill again that I mentioned earlier, which is this one. Just refer back to that, please, so I don't have to talk through it all again. So it does that there after the first verse 1. There's lots of small little verses, actually 4 small verses, so I call that one verse 1. Now verse 2 begins with a slightly different construction here. So we have again D minor. This time we go straight to C. So how you do that is basically you're just going to step up with your third finger and your pinky drops down to B3. You'll start to see a pattern here as you do this, and your fingers get used to it, muscle memory. Next, your third finger leaps up to G. If I just sing some of the words so you know where I am on this. So we've had so far, if I could save time in a bottle, The first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. Now this is the second part. If I could make days last forever, which is that one there. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come. Okay, this is the one I'm looking at the moment. So, as I said, D minor, again, up to a C, third, up to a 3, pinky down onto B3. Pick the same strings, again, 1, 2, 3, string 3, string 2, string 1, and back up on the arpeggio. Then you step, your third finger then goes up to the G note. It is actually E3. So this will be D minor slash G. Again, same pattern. And then you're going to bar. Again, B flat. So you're picking the B flat. And then you pick the F, which is E1. Hope this is all making sense. And then you go back, stretch over to E3 again. And then finally, you do a fill. Now this is the first of this type of fill. You, again, 2-finger, a harmony type of fill, which is, you want second finger on D2, and your third finger is on B2. So you pick, here I'm picking, again it's up to you, thumb and first or second. I tend to go for my first and second, I don't know why I'm more comfortable there. So we're going to go on the second fret, up to 4th fret, D4, B4, B4, anyway. Then up to 5, D5, B5, and then you're back and you do a little pull off on your pinky. It's up to you how you do this. I prefer my pinky. You play the quite a tricky piece to do there. You could do that, I suppose. It's up to you. So far we get, yep, and then play those 2 strings open, D and B together, and then hammer back down to D2, B2. Okay. We're going to go on to the chorus. Now bearing in mind these sections just repeat. Okay, the chorus, how I do it, I found a way, again just to help me how I do it, is I'm going to play a D, but I'm playing with a bar across the, on the 2nd fret, across the G, the B and the E strings, and I'm going to use my second finger on the B3, and that way I can stretch easier. So here we go, the arpeggio starts on the normal D. You're running through an open D, a G string, B string, an E string, and back up. Okay, and then you reach over, and it's up to you, your pinky, wherever, whichever's most comfortable at the time, to A4. Okay, and then you bar 2, because you want to get in A2 here, you want the B note, which would be D slash B really here. And then you take it off, just drop down, so you open up the A. You've got an open A. Now, this is how I do it, you might find a different way of doing this. Then you want the G, so you're playing this note over the D still. I'm not pushing hard enough on that E, you can hear it, E2 is fine. You know, so make sure you pull down and in, you can get that. That's better, got rid of it. Then reach up, bar again, so you want the F sharp, which is E2, that's your bass note. And finally you're going to drop out to E minor, give your fingers a rest. Now, all the time you're picking these bottom 3 strings with different bass note. So that sounds something like this. And then you've got that fill that we did earlier. And the chorus, I've forgotten the words. What happens to me? Bear with me, right? But there never seems to be enough time. Okay, yeah. So, but there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do. What you find out? I've looked around. Oh, I looked around enough to know that you're the one I wanna go through time with. Okay, so they actually repeat. So the structure, really, I think I've covered all the bases apart from the ending, which I'll come to. So you've got the intro, verse 1, verse 2, repeats as verse 3 and 4, same structure. The chorus is the same, that repeats twice. So I've done the chorus and I've just done the verse. Remember, the verse is in 2 sections. It's got the D minor followed by the C shape and then the G. And the first, I don't want to confuse you, I won't go over that. Cut that bit out. So the ending has this part. So off of the second chorus, you will hear this. This has been tabbed out by someone else. So just check it. I did listen to. It's got some really high pitched notes. Anyway, so it you want to 2 fingers together. So that's the sound. So you've got open D, open E, 6 on B, 7 on G. And it's up to you which fingers you use. You can use those 2 if you want. Yep. They're essentially the strings you can hear. You can actually put another D in if you want, but because it's already ringing, you don't have to do it. You could it's up to you what fingers you pick with as well. I would tend to come down with my thumb when I hit 7 on G. Now here, these last 2 notes, there's another 2 notes on here. Okay, now those 2 notes you're putting in the middle, I hope I got the right tempo there, the right action. It's 10 on B, 10 on E. Now you can do it in another place. You can do this little harmony here. You can play the harmonic, not harmony, harmonic. I mean harmonic on 5, which is an A note, and the harmonic on the G note, which will be a D. So you would get this, or you could play it above. You can bar here, and you get this. Can you hear that? It's really nice. So that's a harmonic on. Actually, the G. It's better to play the D and the G. Rest your finger above the metal, very lightly, and you get that lovely note. So you could do something like that. 6 and 7, do that again. Do you see? It's quite nice. Or as I said, you can do it up here. Yep. And it finishes on a nice, I think it's that chord there, which is a form of B. It's a D minor. Sorry, D minor. Possibly add 9 or D9. I'm not sure of the chord really. So open E is the 9th or the 2nd note. Nice chord anyway, isn't it? It's got a final feeling. It's the end. Or you can play just a D minor. It's got a feeling of ending as well. As I said, that or that. Okay, hopefully that has helped you. I've got to run now. Take care. Bye. Hope that's helped you. At least, with your arpeggios, take your time, be patient. A few chords every day, run your fingers through those chords, don't rush it, and I'm sure you'll get there in the end. Okay, take care. I'm off to look at some old photographs.